So I'm building a holster for my Milwaukee drill to fit on the side of my Stanley storage cabinet so that I can get to it quickly and easily. I'm going to be doing this in Fusion 360 from Autodesk, or Fusion it's now called. And the first thing I have to do is I have to take a picture of it with a measurement so that I can properly scale it. So this is where we start with this picture here, and then we'll jump into Fusion. So I am not a Fusion expert by any shape or form or title, but I have watched enough YouTube videos, so I'm a firm graduate of YouTube University, and I have been playing with this for probably a couple of years at least, and picked up a few things along the way. Let's put it that way. So we took a picture that I took, and the way it works is you insert what they call a canvas, which is the picture. And then when you have your canvas inserted, you get to calibrate it. And the way you calibrate it is you zoom in, and I'll just do it so you can see it. You calibrate, and it said, okay, I have this point here, and I'm going to this point here, and that is going to be 10 millimeters. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to mess it up. But anyway, and what that will do is it will scale the canvas to life size or original size. Okay, when it first came in, it was kind of small, and I just zoomed in on it until I could see the ruler. And this works on anything that you can identify as whatever. It doesn't have to be metric. It could be inches. So generally what you do, you take a picture with a ruler of some type. I just used my metric tape measure. And then that allowed me to actually put the photograph in at life size. Then what I did is I created a sketch of what I thought would be my holster part of the endeavor. And all I did here is I literally just created a sketch, made a line, and then I just moved around the area that would be inside the holster. And as you can see, I didn't make it snug or too snug. I left spaces here. It's very, very important when you take your photo, and I didn't do it, which is why you'll notice that down here it looks like it's too short. It's not too short. I had a bit of an angle on it, but when you take your photo, you need to hold your camera about 3 feet or so above the object you're focusing on. In all honesty, it's better to put it on the floor and then hold your camera at waist height, and then maybe like put it on a white piece of paper if it's small enough. This is my MFT table, as you can tell by the holes. Wasn't a great thing, but it worked out. But as you can see, it's got a slight angle to it, and so the bottom is not representative of everything else, because what happened is I was holding my camera right over the top of the top here. And just so you know, I'm also using my hands to describe this, which you can't see, which makes me feel kind of funny right now, but that's just the way it is. I talk with my hands. So anyway, so what I did is I created this sketch of the holster part, and then I turn this off. I created a sketch of a base. And again, these don't totally line up the way that they will, and I think I was messing around with it, which is why it doesn't probably look that way. And then when I finally get done with this, I end up with this, which is upside down because that's the way I drew it. Sorry. Put it on the bottom. And so here is my thing. Now, I was playing around with different fillets after I printed it to see if I would make it look better or maybe be stronger. That's what these things down here are. I'd already printed it on my printer, which is a Bamboo Lab A1. I'm using Overture Black PLA. It took 5.5 hours. I can't remember exactly what it was. I got kind of irritated because so I did a couple here. So sorry, let me back up for a second. I apologize. So one of the first things I did is I printed this out, and then inside of Bamboo Studio, I cut the top off. And so what I did is everything in my thing uses parameters. And so I made my base plate a millimeter thick, and then when I got over to Bamboo Studio, I basically cut from here down to like just a thing here, about maybe 10 or 15 millimeters tall, and that allowed me to test the fit to make sure that it was going to work. I found out the bottom was a little bit too far down, not causing a problem. I just wanted it to be a little bit neater, so I moved that up into Sketch, then went and redid it, printed it overnight, woke up, looked really pretty, went to put it in, and the way that I had joined the base to the holster, I had taken space away from the inside and it didn't fit. So I had to add extra space and reprint it. So by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it was done and you saw the results. So this is what it looks like. There is about 100 things you could do probably better than that. If you wanted to make it pretty, you could make this outside be totally smooth and then have the inside, you know, kind of form fit. I didn't feel that was necessary. Again, I printed this off in PLA. It seemed to be perfectly fine. I used what did I use? I used 4 millimeters for the base, 3 millimeters for the thickness of the wall of the holster itself. And I have small fillets on these big ones here on the actual model I printed out. And then basically print it out. I've already got holes drilled in it. As you can see, they're a bit on the large side. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. I thought I fixed that, but evidently I didn't notice that I didn't fix it the way I wanted it. And then I just used some black threaded screws to screw into the side of the cabinet. So that is how I made my my holster. And again, this is just something that I was using all the time, and I wanted it where I don't have to open a drawer, I don't have to do anything, I just grab it and go. So that's how I made it. And here we go. I do not have a great finish on some parts of this, but that is fine. So here's what we end up with. Again, just have a base, has the model that I modeled out here. Fits in just like that. See, pick it up, put it in. So that's a success. Let me get it put on the wall. As you can see, fits in, pulls out pretty easy. So got my everyday carry screw collection up here. I grabbed that off the wall, grab this. I got drill bits over here. I have drill bits in here. So we're all ready to go. So this is just yet another First Order of Retrievability solution, and worked out better than I thought. Thanks for watching, everybody.